Win a Blackstone grill and a $250 Publix gift card at clickorlando.com. Live with clickorlando.com and streaming on News 6 Plus. This is News 6 at 4:30. Getting results.
Now on News 6 Mornings, tracking Idalia, we have team coverage pinpointing the latest projected path with a new advisory due out in the next 30 minutes.
We moved here to get away from the hurricanes, and 2 weeks later, here we are.
Preps underway as Idalia gets closer to Florida. We're in Marion and Sumter counties with how to find sandbags and where shelters are opening.
But we start with the latest track. It is 4:30 on this extended edition of News 6 Mornings. I'm Justin Wormuth.
I'm Crystal Moyer. Thanks for waking up with us.
I'm Bridget Ellison. We begin with meteorologists Troy Bridges and Michelle Morgan tracking Idalia this morning. And what's the latest?
Yeah, there's a chance this will, by 5 a.m., become a hurricane. Still, it is a tropical storm. As we continue to pinpoint Idalia, Idalia will be moving closer into the Gulf of Mexico, where there's plenty of warm water, that fuel to strengthen this storm heading into the next several hours. So you see this right now, winds at 70 miles per hour. It takes 74-mile-per-hour winds to become a hurricane. So still, all day yesterday, it didn't become a hurricane because it was interacting with some land there in western Cuba. Now that it's moving into the Gulf of Mexico, it has that near 90-degree water temperature to fuel this storm into a Category 2 fairly quickly, and then a major Category 3 hurricane as we head later into the day, likely on Tuesday, that's today, and then early Wednesday, moving to the Big Bend of Florida. So here is the track as of 11 o'clock last night. And notice technically it only includes the far north and western sections of Marion County. The rest of Central Florida not technically in the cone, but keep in mind this storm will be so large and it will be so intense that we will have at least tropical storm force winds extending out. Right now, tropical storm force winds are extending 150 miles from the center of this storm. So as early as 5 a.m. on Wednesday, we'll see Lake Sumter and Marion with that chance for some of those tropical storm force winds. Then by 10 a.m. on Wednesday, most all of Central Florida seeing that impact. Here is meteorologist Michelle Morgan with more on those impacts that we can expect as the day goes on, but especially on Wednesday, Michelle.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you so much, Troy. So let's go ahead and talk about impacts, because things will quickly begin to deteriorate as we go through this afternoon, especially through the overnight hours. So we'll go ahead and begin with our western zones.
Thanks, Michelle. And yesterday, Governor DeSantis issued a state of emergency for 46 counties, including Flagler, Lake Sumter, Marion, Polk, Seminole, and Volusia. Evacuations are underway right now for the Gulf Coast. The governor also suspended tolls for part of the state and along the turnpike from I-75 to I-4 in Lake Sumter and portions of Orange County. Marion County leaders are recommending evacuations for people who live in mobile homes or RVs west of I-75. Schools there are also closed today and tomorrow. News 6's Treasure Roberts joins us from Tuscaloosa Park in Marion County, where you can get sandbags.
Volusia County has also issued a voluntary evacuation for people in RVs, mobile homes, or low-lying areas. That starts this morning at 10. Shelters will be opening tomorrow at the same time at the Volusia Fairgrounds, the Hester Building, and the Florida Department of Health on Holzenbach Drive.
In Sumter County, emergency leaders are preparing to open shelters, and people who missed out on getting sandbags yesterday can get them today. News 6's Troy Campbell joins us with the important information you need to know.
Thank you, Troy. Emergency shelters are opening in several parts of Central Florida. In Lake County, shelters will be open today at 3 at Lost Lake Elementary and the Villages Elementary. In Orange County, shelters will be open at 1 p.m. at Barnett Park and 3 rec centers. In Polk County, shelters are opening at 4 p.m. at several schools.
And when it comes to school closures, Marion County schools will be closed today and tomorrow. Polk and Sumter County schools will be closed tomorrow and Thursday, and Lake and Flagler County schools will be closed tomorrow. For universities, UF and FSU will be closed tomorrow. Bethune-Cookman University is switching to online classes tomorrow through Friday, and UCF leaders say they're going to make an announcement about school closures this afternoon. We'll have a full county-by-county breakdown of emergency shelters, sandbag locations, and school closures. It's all on the homepage of clickorlando.com.
Meantime, along the Space Coast, a launch set for tonight has been called off. Crews with United Launch Alliance rolled out the Atlas V rocket to the pad last week. They were set to do a launch for the U.S. Space Force. They're now delaying the launch because of the storm and out of an abundance of caution for personnel safety. Teams moved the rocket from the launch pad back to the facility. Once we learn a new launch time, we will bring that to you. Another thing we're keeping an eye on, the airports. Tampa International Airport closed at midnight. Airport leaders expect to reopen Thursday. Leaders with Orlando International Airport say they're keeping track of the storm and they'll announce any closures.
All roads that were closed because of unstable scaffolding in downtown Orlando are back open. Portions of Orange Avenue, Church Street, and Pine Street were closed for weeks while crews worked on removing scaffolding, forcing several businesses in that area to shut down. And we want to get back to your forecast now. Meteorologist Troy Bridges here, and we are waiting on that update coming up in 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, the 5 a.m. advisory will have new information whether this is developing into a Category 1 hurricane. Right now, it is still technically a tropical storm. The winds at 70 miles per hour only take 74-mile-per-hour winds or higher to become a hurricane. It will be moving into those very warm waters of the Gulf of Mexico and strengthening to a Category 3, making landfall sometime early on Wednesday morning for the Big Bend area. Now, we will be impacted in central Florida as early as this afternoon. You can expect those tropical storm force winds, though, coming as we get through the day, the earliest part into the afternoon hours today between 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. Some tropical storm force wind gusts also between 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. for central zones, including the Orlando metro region. That's Orange County on up into Volusia County and Flagler County. But where you see the red, that's between 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. for Marion County as well as Sumter County, and then between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. of course earlier on in our southern county. So let's show you the future radar here. As you see into the afternoon today, we'll be pinpointing some of those showers with some of those squall lines coming in ahead of the system. There's 8 p.m. tonight. We'll have breaks here and there, and then as we get into the early morning hours on Wednesday, as we take it to 3 a.m., notice that big line beginning to push into western sides, Lake Sumter and Marion counties. You can see the eye there just offshore at 5:30 in the morning on Wednesday, and then continuing to push to the north. The good news is the system will move in and out fairly quickly. That means it's not going to be a huge rainmaker, but it will be a wind concern for central Florida. We'll talk more with team coverage straight ahead, you guys, about how much of that wind we can expect and what kind of damage that could cause. Back to you.
Thanks, Troy. 442 coming up with another big storm heading to Florida. There are questions surrounding the state of our insurance industry.
People have nothing to fear when it comes to their insurance being available to them.
What you need to know if you have to file a claim. Next.
You're watching News 6 Mornings on your Tuesday. We'll be right back.
We appreciate everything you've done for us. We will recommend this to other people that are hurting like we are.
Live with Bridget Ellison, Justin Warmoth, Crystal Moyer, meteorologist Troy Bridges, and your traffic safety expert, Trooper Steve. This is News 6 Mornings, getting results.
As Tropical Storm Idalia moves closer to Florida, many people are wondering how the storm will impact the state's already struggling insurance market.
That's right. What happens if the storm causes damage and homeowners need to make insurance claims?
News 6 investigator Mike DeForest is working to get you answers. Mike, thanks. Well, much of the East Coast is dealing with dangerous rip currents right now, but not because of Idalia. Another storm, Hurricane Franklin, hundreds of miles off the coast, is stirring up the water.
It feels like something's pulling you from your feet. Someone's just yanked your feet away. It just pulls you, but you just got to look out. The swimmers around, if you don't have a surfboard to hold on to, it can get tough.
This is a practice run that hopefully we don't need the rest of the hurricane season.
Brevard County Sheriff Wayne Ivey says neither Idalia nor Franklin is expected to interrupt any public services, including schools. If that changes, though, we'll of course let you know on air and on clickorlando.com.
Pretty wild, though, that we have the potential of having two major hurricanes going at the same exact time as Idalia starts to get into the Gulf and really gain steam.
You know what? It has to do with all this warm water. I mean,
Right.
These things are strong and they're strengthening because of this water temperature in the Gulf near 90 degrees. So that's why we think this could be a hurricane as early as 5 a.m. and then later today quickly becoming a Category 2, then a Category 3, which is a major hurricane. So there it is as it is moving over a little bit of land in western Cuba. So as it interacts with some of that land, it has had a little trouble strengthening, but now now that it's moving away from Cuba into those warm waters of the Gulf of Mexico, this storm will intensify fairly quickly, again, becoming a hurricane and then quickly becoming a 2, then a Category 3 as it makes landfall between somewhere near the Big Bend area and fairly north of Tampa now. Yesterday, we were showing you areas near Tampa that could be impacted. Tampa will be impacted because it will be so close to shore as a major hurricane. But here is the track. As we zoom in to our area, you can see far north and western sides of Marion County technically in the track. But when you talk about a Category 3 hurricane so close to land, so close to us, it means that it will extend out with those tropical storm force winds as well as hurricane force winds. So here is the severe threat for today. We're talking about squall lines with heavy rain, strong wind gust up to tropical storm force or greater, as well as the chance for some rotating cells. Some tornadoes can't be ruled out. The Storm Prediction Center, where you're seeing the yellow, has given us a 2 on a scale between 1 and 5. That's technically called a slight risk, but it does mean a chance for tornadoes, and that's for most all of Central Florida.
Now, storm surge also a concern along the Big Bend area, stretching along Florida's west coast. We could see less than 9 feet, again, as that water is pushed up above ground. And also keep in mind that a full moon will be in effect as we go through tonight and tomorrow, so the tides will already be fairly high. As we zoom things out here along coastal areas, 2 to 3 feet, and look out to the east near Holly Hill, so near Volusia County, also Flagler County can also see strong rip currents as well, so keep that in mind for those areas as we go through the overnight. Here's a look at your 7-day forecast. Today, again, we're looking at a 90% for widespread rain across the area as that tropical moisture moves in, keeping our temperatures near average, 92. We'll be in the upper 80s as we head into our Wednesday with also a 90% coverage. Lingering tropical rain as we go through our Thursday and also Friday, and as we head into our weekend, looking at a 40 to 50% coverage for showers and thunderstorms.
Thank you, Michelle. Next at 4:30, breaking new details less than 24 hours after 2 people were found shot to death at an Orlando home. What police say now about the suspect in the case.
Sign up to be an insider.
Insiders.
What does it mean to be an insider? Join thousands of others in this unique community to gain access to all kinds of exclusive content, like extended interviews, behind-the-scenes looks, and bloopers. Plus, enter contests, get exciting deals, and more.
100% shocked. She called me. It's like, what? Are you serious? What did I win?
Just a great way to know a little bit more beyond the newscast.
Sign up to be a News 6 insider at clickorlando.com/insider. Sponsored by the Orange County Library System.
Breaking overnight, Orlando police say the suspect in the shooting deaths of a man and woman is dead. The victims' bodies were found just before 7 a.m. yesterday along Azola Street near John Young Parkway. Police say both victims died at the scene. We spoke to a few neighbors off camera who said they were surprised to hear about the shooting, especially since this is a relatively new subdivision. Investigators say the suspect took his own life and they are not looking for anyone else.
Former President Donald Trump now knows his arraignment and trial dates for the Georgia election interference case. He and 18 co-defendants will be arraigned in Fulton County September 6th. The former president's expected to plead not guilty, though it's unclear if he'll do so in person. As for his federal trial on election interference, the district judge is scheduling it for March 4th, 2024. The judge says she'll take into account Trump's other criminal proceedings, but not personal or professional schedules.
All right, coming up at 5, the latest advisory on Idalia just coming in.
And team coverage pinpointing where the storm's headed and when it could make landfall.